Who would want to work in an environment where you're made to feel guilty if you're actually sick?
I'm a man on a mission. I don't need no permission.
Unstoppable, my friend. How are you?
This Kday is a throwback to 2017 where the company learned a massive lesson around letting the team take care of themselves so they can then perform at a higher level. Check this one out.
I think that there's been, and I accept full responsibility for this, I think there's been a disconnect in the way that information has been passed down the chain of command, especially when Marie and I have been out of the office. Because I know, there's been situations, especially in the last couple of weeks, where people are working really hard, and this is what we do, we work very hard, but there's sometimes we get tired, and when people want to go and have a rest, if they're made to feel like either one or other people in their team, that them having a rest is either making them weak or anything else, like that's not an internal wow, that's an internal oh no. Does this make sense? And just because Marie and I, and again, I'm not trying to put Marie and I on any type of pedestal, because I don't think we are, I don't think our work, in all honesty, I don't think necessarily our work ethics should be modelled. Marie and I have worked a very long time to condition ourselves to be able to work at the level that we do. To be able to do 7 days straight for months on end is not something that everybody can do, and nor should you necessarily want to. This isn't your business, I don't expect you guys to work as hard as what I do, or what Marie does. Marie and I are a little bit freakish. But what I have observed is the standard by which we work has created an unhealthy example for everyone to follow. And what has happened is when people feel ill, because who would agree that sometimes people are bringing in a grenade into the barracks? But we all know the importance of quarantine. But on some level, I have made you guys feel uncomfortable about being sick, and as a result, you bring the grenade into the barracks. Does this make sense? You guys with me on this? So what I need to look at is, and what I want to communicate to you guys is, it is okay to take time out. It is okay to work normal hours. It is okay to just take care of yourself. And if you don't, after this conversation, it's no longer my fault or Marie's fault anymore. It's now your responsibility. Does this make sense? Because up until now, I haven't necessarily given anyone the permission to go, look, if you're tired, just take some time out. It's always been, come on, suck it up, let's keep going, especially if it's on the clock. But as we're seeing, it's not necessarily the healthiest outcome for everybody. I think, if someone's worked until 12:30 at night and they've come in at 7:30 the next morning and they want to leave, let's call it 5:45 that afternoon, they should not be made to feel guilty. If anything, they should be celebrated and saying, thank you for the effort that you've given. Does this make sense? And I want to accept responsibility for not allowing that communication to trickle down in the form that it perhaps should have. And it's no one's responsibility, like whoever's tried to communicate this, it's not their fault. Okay, it's my fault, okay, and I need to accept responsibility and realise that in order for things to change, then I have to change. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. And I need your help to do that. Are you guys open to that, to providing that kind of help? Okay, cool.
And I think you're right in that perspective about that guilty feeling. I felt very guilty, giving you a call the other day, trying to tell you that my back is bad. I felt a little bit guilty there.
Okay.
And it's very confronting for me to bring out these feelings right now.
No, this is good. This is what open, honest communication is. Who would want to work in an environment where you're made to feel guilty, if you're actually sick? And I thought to myself, well, fuck, I'm responsible for this. So who would agree there's a level of that currently here right now? Let's be honest. Okay, so how do we change that? Who legitimately wants to be a high performer? Okay. Do you know what high performers understand the importance of? Rest. Rest. If you look at the, can't remember, it's the athlete model versus the business model. And you've got the athlete model is they spend like 60, 70% of their time resting and the other 30, 40% of their time training and competing. But they can't train, you can't train at the highest level. You can't compete at the highest level if you're not well. You can't compete and train at the highest level if you're not healthy. And I think the challenge that we've gone into is we've gone into the business model where we spend 80% of our time fucking working and grilling and grinding, and we spend 15% of our time maybe training, and then there's maybe 5% of our time resting. And that's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable at all.
You need the recovery to be able to perform at a high level.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And I'm embarrassed, and I'm deeply apologetic that there have been people that have been brought into this organisation who haven't had the opportunity to see this. Because in the last, if you look at this organisation based on the last 2 months of snapshot, you would have a very different perspective of how this organisation actually operates. Because I haven't been in here, Marie hasn't been here, and we've been working at a level of intensity based on everything that's been going on that could perhaps make you think that this is a different organisation to what it is. And I don't want anyone to have the wrong impression about how we operate. So we've got some big changes coming. First of all, we're going to be moving from a 5-day week to a 7-day week. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Moving forward, we're going to be doing half-day Fridays once a month. By half-day Fridays from 1:30 p.m. Once a month on a Friday, we're going to be basically shutting up shop and you guys can go home. Now, this is going to be based on an opt-in basis. You do not have to do this if you do not want to. Okay, for me, this is so far out of my fucking comfort zone right now, like, because I just can't imagine doing this. But at the same time, you guys aren't me, and I want to take care of you because I want you guys here for the long term, not just, you know, a flash in the pan. Okay, we are going to be giving everyone who has a birthday, you will get a day off on your birthday.
Everyone that has a birthday, everyone that has a birthday.
I was hatched at NASA, so I don't really have a birthday. We're also going to be instilling with everyone except for maybe 1 or 2 people, 7 to 7 blackout communication. So from 7 p.m. in the evening till 7 a.m. in the morning. Well, there will be some exceptions. There will be some exceptions. Okay, this is an opt-in basis. Okay, everything I'm suggesting here is opt-in, but I just want to give you guys the options because if we're going to be an employer of choice, we actually have to do more than just fucking give you guys supplements and fucking food. Okay, because the supplement and the food and the health clearly is not enough because we're still experiencing some of the same problems that we had before. So people who will probably be exempt from the 7 to 7 communications will be obviously Tracy because you just don't have an off button, Marie, myself, I'm 24/7, and anyone else who, and again, as I said, it's opt-in basis, but that's also important to understand. Like if I send someone a text at 8 p.m. in that evening, that doesn't necessarily mean I want you to respond at 8 p.m. that evening. You can respond at 7 a.m. or 7:30 the next morning. Does this make sense? Yeah. I think it's really important to understand. This is all new. This is as new for me as it is for you, and this probably makes me, who's a little bit excited about these changes? Okay, for every inch of excitement that you have, I have 10 inches of discomfort. I do, because I'm the one that's because I don't work like this. Like I like to work hard. I have a stupid work ethic, and I really enjoy it. But I can't expect everyone to be like me. Does this make sense? So I'm hoping that you guys can teach me something from this. Like,
That's not working hard.
No, it's not working hard, but when I think about taking half a day off every Friday, I'm like once a month, I'm like, why would I do that? Like when I talk about having my birthday off, I'm like, why would I do that? When I talk about having days off, I just don't know how to have days off. But my point being, and I don't want to talk to that, what I do is not necessarily the healthiest example of how to live a life, you know what I mean? Because I've had sacrifices as a result of that, you know? And I don't necessarily want you guys to have to make the same sacrifices that I've made, you know, because they're not necessarily nice ones in every scenario. I'm very happy with where I'm at, and everything's happened for a reason, but at the same time, I'm learning from some of the mistakes that I'm making, and I'm hoping that you guys will learn from some of my mistakes as well. You know, the only experience that I have to draw upon is when I found out my wife was pregnant with Noah, my work ethic went even more through the roof because I started to realise I want to have time at home. I want to be, you know, more present. And so when the time that I spend at work, like most of you guys would see, I don't eat lunch most days. And it's not because I skip lunch. I've just trained my body not to need lunch. And so as a result, I can come in, and whether I'm coming in at, you know, 8, 9 or 10:30 in the morning, I'm working whether it's to 3, 4 or 5. You know, most of you have seen I can work literally back to back until I go, and then I can repeat that. I'm not saying you have to do that, but what I am saying is with this kind of with this kind of an environment, I'm expecting and I'm hoping that the rewards are going to. I'm hoping this is going to give ROI. I'm hoping this is going to be a really smart business decision from 2 reasons. ROI in terms of number one, and it's not money. ROI is in terms of your satisfaction here and your enjoyment in this workplace. Number 2, I want to see an improved level of health in this office. I want to see healthier people. I want to see happier people. And it's not that you're not happy, but I just know when people are tired, you know, it's hard to be happy when you're tired all the time. And the third thing I'd love to see an uplift in productivity because of the first 2. Please understand that's consequential. I'm looking at the things that naturally create the result that I'm looking for as a consequence, not as a focus. You focus on money, you do stupid shit. But if you focus on the things that make money, the money just flows. So rather than me focusing on trying to make you guys more productive, I want to focus on giving you the things that give you more life, that make you happier, and that create an environment where you go, you know, fuck, I want to be inviting people to join this environment, not wanting people to stay away from this environment, if that makes sense. What do you guys think? Feedback from you guys.
I know it's not easy for you, and that makes it more valuable to me. That to me shows care and respect for us, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And please, I hope it's clear, I'm not doing this for me. I'm not. I'm doing this for you guys because I'm watching, I'm seeing, and I care. I don't want you guys to be crashing and burning. I do not change the world. We change the world. Does this make sense? I can't do what I'm doing in isolation. It just doesn't happen that way. And in order for us to have the greatest impact that we can have, then we need to be on the same page with each other. We need to be supportive of each other. We need to make sure that there's no hidden agendas or undermining going on, and we're all, you know, all basically pushing in the same direction. This isn't just a social experiment in necessarily just doing what makes us happy. There has to be a commercial return. But if my thought process, if you're doing something that lights you up, then the ROI just happens naturally. But I don't want anyone to feel micromanaged. I don't want anyone to feel constrained. I want you to feel like you've got the liberty and the freedom to actually enjoy yourself while you're here. You spend fucking most of your life here. And I don't want this to be all talk. I want this to be something that we all enroll in. Do I have everyone's commitment to enroll in this?
Yes.
All right.
I'm a man on a mission.
Hope you enjoyed Kday 110, and I just want you to know those processes that Kerwin implemented 2 years ago completely changed the game for us in the team. Something to think about. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more Kdays.
I ain't waiting and wishing.